I guess you are going to hear the sound in the background of the video itself.
This has been the best party ever.
I like that fan.
Happy first birthday, Maxwell.
Ooh, he's very happy he has his daddy's hair dye.
Oh, yeah. That's Rebby's dad.
Is it?
Yeah. Playing the gardener.
I was assuring her father Matt's not sick.
Yes.
He's my favorite wrestler ever.
So the gimmick is Matt doesn't speak Spanish.
My gift is too enormous to be confined by a material possession.
Now,
To King Maxwell, who will one day be the heir to the haughty name, to the haughty throne.
One day be the name, the heir. He's here now.
he's here right now.
Yeah.
From a family tree, forever, I am going to restore honor to the haughty name. That is why I invite
This accent is hideous.
That's what makes it so great, though.
Yeah.
must be documented. Please light this candle, my beautiful wife.
I like the cheap Spanish music playing in the background.
I like the decor. I love the luchadors hanging from the ropes.
That's right.
The ribbons everywhere. The Fiesta sign.
So the gimmick is she knows he's nuts, but he doesn't speak Spanish, so he doesn't know that she knows that he's nuts.
Right, okay.
Today, at sunset, the final deletion takes place. Senor Benjamin, prepare the battle.
Senor Benjamin.
Massacre.
That guy's awesome.
Everyone should have a father-in-law like that.
I got a father like that, actually.
That's true. Meanwhile, Jeff is carving his symbol into his lawn,
And why wouldn't you?
as you do.
Jeff is making crop circles. That's what's happening here.
It's music.
I was going to say. Is it on Mr. Rogers
A
tomorrow?
metallic flamingo in Jeff's house.
Sure. Jeff's just a family man.
Yeah. Like his tattoos, his yard work, and his guitar.
That's right. He's-
They've done Briscoes versus Hardys at some point, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Recently, actually. There's a drone! I told you there was a drone! Jeff's hideous acting makes it even better.
Okay. Hang on.
The drone is talking to him. And drone
Swarm
animation!
of drones! Jeff is in great danger! Defend yourself! El Kabong!
Jeff took out every one of those drones.
Ah!
At the property line.
Yeah.
I like I like the idea that Jeff Hardy would give a shit who owns the Hardy brand.
Run, drone, run!
The one that got away.
It's time for my bike. Still swatting drones out of the sky like Kong swatting biplanes.
I like that Jeff's only mode of transportation is this bike. He's gonna chasing it.
Cat and mouse, so naive. Brother Nero is not the only landscaper in the family. Your beloved
Wow.
God is about to be broken.
He's running the lawn!
Oh, wow. So he distracted him with a drone.
Yes!
And so Jeff zoomed off and now he's destroying his lawn.
Which will never grow back.
They've totally given up.
Oh, no, you're wrong. They've totally won.
Sunset, the final deletion takes place. Prepare the battlefield for massacre.
Oh, there's a special way to prepare it for massacre.
So he's trusting Mr. Daddy Rebby Sky to put a ring together.
Oh, yeah.
Hiding chairs.
Candlestick.
Yep.
Fireworks?
Armament. Landmines, perhaps.
For massacre.
Mira. Senor Benjamin, this is the remaining gasoline for area landscaping escapade. Please, apply generously to the battlegrounds. It takes a lot of fuel to delete our Brother Nero.
Look at Revy.
Dusk is approaching.
Benjamin says, okay.
The Final Deletion is upon us. Come, Rebecca. We must go.
My daughter's husband wishes to set his brother on fire. I will aid him.
Yeah, sure. Oh, man. Night has fallen. Oh, they got a referee driving in.
The ref travels in his gear.
Yes.
He's baffled. I bet they made this whole thing with less than $100. That's actually the most impressive thing about the entire deal.
I saw in my premonition. Are you a licensed official? I am. You have one job tonight. Either count the pinfall or record the submission. When it's over, do you resuscitate Brother Nero? Because he must be deleted.
He's the best.
Now, I must summon the evil enigma by playing this lovely violin that I was personally given
What?
by my dear friend Antonio Stradivari.
Oh, Stradivari gave him that violin. This is how you summon the evil brother. You play the violin.
That was in the house of the rising sun. Jeff, confused the rest of us.
I don't know why. He's lived with this guy for 40 years.
Brother Nero, I knew you'd come. This match we're about to have will be your true Armageddon.
I love that the gardener knows how to set up lighting.
Gardner's very talented. I love the fire in the corners.
I know.
And the trees.
They got actual real life lighting outside, but
Yes.
they make sure to put fire in the corners. All right, here we go. The match is beginning.
More drone shots.
The Final Deletion. They played a gong.
All right. You don't lock up in a blood feud.
No, they didn't lock up. They thought about it. And then they realized there are more camera cuts here than on Raw.
Well,
there's more camera cuts here than on that UWF we just watched. They're, in fact, having a legitimate wrestling match right now.
In the woods.
In the woods.
You know the best part about this? The Hardys are basically, their whole career is they are the most successful backyarders ever.
Oh, yeah.
So where are they ending their feud? In the fucking
In the
backyard.
Yeah. What could be more fitting?
Yeah.
Using moves like big splashes here in this blood feud for the rights to the Hardy brand.
Yes. Jeff knows his insane brother would stash weapons all over, including
grass. It appears he's throwing grass. No, it's a trellis. Is that what that's called?
I don't know.
He's throwing a fucking trellis into the ring.
This is a softcore match.
At the moment.
Yes, there's more to come.
Jeff knows there's gasoline everywhere. So
I'll give you splinters.
He's putting leaves in the ring because they're flammable.
Yes.
Listen to this music.
This is awesome.
Straight out of Lord of the Rings.
Only far more important.
Oh, man. Matt hit the twist of fate.
That's right.
And even in a backyard match, he dramatically makes the cover.
The music crescendos.
The crescendo and then Matt screaming like a madman. And doing the lightest cane shots I've ever seen to his crazed brother.
Well, it's still his son's uncle.
You don't care about that. I'm amazed at the sheer number of cuts that we've seen so far.
It is actually distracting. that one word for it?
Oh,
Yes.
Matt found something that appears to be made of metal. It appears to be a cheap ladder.
It is that's a redneck ladder right there.
That's a ladder that I don't know.
Yeah,
That was in the $5 bargain bin.
don't climb that, guys. That won't support either.
I can kick him to his face. Could have kicked him to his face.
Or just choke him.
Do you realize that each cut is like a camera commercial break?
Basically, yes.
Matt wrestling with his shirt on, I might add.
So's Jeff.
A tank top.
Oh.
Oh, they teased a twist of fate on the ladder, but not to deliver yet. Even in the final deletion, we've got to tease these moves.
There are seriously pointy bits of wood all over the ring now. Jeff taking off his shirt for the fans when there are no fans. He's going up top. He has descent on into wood.
I like Matt's gimmick of screaming at the top of his lungs now.
All right.
Jeff is setting up the ladder in the corner. The music has slowed to a crawl. Jeff hit a twist of fate that caused Matt to leap up onto a ladder.
Yes.
That is stuck between the first and second rope.
Light elbows to the head.
The referee is doing a good job enforcing Matt's rules, which are don't do anything.
The orchestra holding the longest sustained string instrument note.
Yep. Jeff is climbing legit a ladder
Up a tree.
up a tree. He's now climbing further into the tree
Maybe there's a cat up there who's trying to help.
with such speed that Matt could have been off that ladder and ruining his lawn again.
Oh.
Oh! God, and he missed.
Why? I just watched Jeff Hardy jump out
Why?
of a tree
There was a tree there.
and put himself through a ladder, kind of, for the back of his head, and now we're supposed to believe that Matt was on it, I guess.
Oh!
That is not enough.
That was a kick out and the ladder fell on him.
You cannot delete a man just via a senton out of a tree.
No.
Back to the droning note.
You know that the climax must be coming with all of these dramatic tones leading up to whatever's going to occur.
Chair is now being used. Chair to the ass there.
Uh-oh, Matt has found fireworks on a
Release.
show that airs the day after the 4th of July.
The gunpowder!
He is now shooting his brother with fireworks. And Jeff is blocking it with a garbage can lid.
That's a lot of fireworks.
That's a hell of a firework right there.
My goodness.
Looks like World War I. Jeff is down.
Carolina's just... The whole state is now just smoggy.
It is.
Now time to retrieve the body.
Matt is grabbing...
Is that a squeegee?
I was going to say, is that a squeegee or...
Brother Nero!
What is that?
I think it's a saw of some sort. Jeff is now chasing his brother with his own firework.
That's right. And he's
got
got
one
a
of those
much
special-
better shot.
He's got a special firework that shoots 9,000 rounds. Oh my god, did you see Matt run? He's hiding on the boat.
He's an Olympic athlete right there.
Of course, Jeff just keeps shooting the boat.
Yeah. Well, eventually
Let's
they'll
not
go through.
move the boat. A lot of profanity here.
All
There
else
has to be-
fails, punch him.
That's right. So after all the fireworks and violence, we have a sleeper hold. They have fallen into the water, which makes this the best match of all time.
That's right. Matt Hardy has emerged. Jeff must be deleted.
Yeah, Jeff's gone.
Brother Nero has been flushed.
He's been flushed.
I've never seen anything better in my life.
Willow has returned with his fucking umbrella, and he's choking the shit out of Matt Hardy.
Ah!
Oh my god.
Senior Benjamin has tased Will-O-the-Wisp.
You can't tase Willow.
I tried.
Matt's selling it like he's Darth Vader after the Emperor electrocuted him.
Is he looking for his car here?
I think he's got a remote. Oh, it's a flashlight. This is very dramatic.
I know. I can't wait to see what happens here. Oh!
Oh, man.
Benjamin
Willow's...
killed Willow!
Dude, guaranteed that's Benjamin. 25 bucks, that's Benjamin.
No, you're probably right. Yep.
Boom! I could book this shit!
And he would have gotten away with it, too, if had him a few meddling kids.
The referee's saying that doesn't count. That was Benjamin.
No
concern. A random R in the background.
No concern that his father-in-law is apparently dead. Uh-oh, dirt. What is this hole doing here?
This must be one of Jeff's dirt bike tracks.
Oh, okay.
This may have been where he broke his leg.
That's right.
Jeff dragging his ass into the dirt. They're rolling around in the dirt in a schoolyard headlock position.
Very unsanitary.
Please tell me he's going to beat him with a side headlock.
Not beaten yet. Or is he? Oh, well, that's handy. Okay, Jeff did make this.
He did! Oh my god. Jeff is now climbing to the top of his own symbol as Matt is lying dead in the dirt. As his life flashes before his eyes.
And his son's first birthday.
Oh my god. Oh my god, he's gonna light it on fire.
Oh, oh my
god, he took a bump off that fucking
no
thing.
Fun. Flames burning everywhere. Jeff rolling towards the flames. Poor survival instinct. I guess it was downhill.
Rebby brought him the candle from Maxwell's first birthday.
That's right.
Oh my, I knew that Matt would get the brand.
It's like Matt's booking.
Fuck, what do we call Jeff now?
Just Brother Nero.
I guess now he's just or Willow.
By the way, this started in the dead of night, and now the sun is rising.
That was a long fucking battle.
They fought all night long. Okay.
That was something else.
I'd like to be the first to congratulate Matt Hardy on his big win.
That's right.
And the best wrestling segment I ever saw in my life.
Wow, that's high praise.
I got nothing negative to say about that in any way.
An amazing segment.
I guess revered episode featuring Final Deletion, which I'm really not even going to talk about. So take that, people.
Tom, get a life, dude. We showed that at the sweet party and everybody loved it. And then I look at the back of the room and you're there just with a sneer on your face. I'm like, Tom is the most positive, friendly fella I know. And he's the one guy that can't watch the Final Deletion, except for Max Smash, not Max Smash Master. What's the other guy's name? Flex Rumble Crunch also did not like it.
Oh, yeah. Well, it pains me.
So the two of you can have a party together.
Listen, as a future father of two children, it pains me to see these two brothers in such a squabble when they could patch things up and live harmoniously as a family. It hurts. Okay. So this Impact opens up with the X Division champion Mike Bennett and Maria coming out to the ring. Bennett talks about winning the X title, I believe it was last week or the week before, over Eddie Edwards, and using option C at Destination X, which has in fact proven to be more reliable than Plan B, I believe. Then Dixie comes out and tells him that he will defend the title in an Ultimate X match, and that starts now. So, Pope has an interesting comment, or it may have been Josh. I really don't care. But one of them mentions that we've never had a match like this with everyone in the X division included. So let me tell you who was out there. I think there was 8 guys. Trevor Lee, Andrew Everett, Braxton Sutter, Spud, DJZ, Mandrews, Eddie Edwards, and The Miracle. So that is indeed 8 men, an 8-man division, according to TNA itself. So Everett and Lee are introduced as representing Shane Helms. So,
I'm just shocked that Mike Bennett is an X Division wrestler.
well, I mean that's the joke here.
I see.
They are representing Shane Helms. I'm not sure if Shane Helms is a hometown in North Carolina or if they are in fact spawned from his semen. I don't think they are. Early on, Braxton Sutter backs Spud in the corner and lands a boot that knocks Spud's teeth out, making him look more like the rest of his countrymen from England. He's bleeding from the mouth. He's taken to the back. The ring is then cleared after a ton of big moves, including some dives, falls off of the X ropes that are set up, and some big suplexes. Mike Bennett gets in the ring, but he's trying to jump up. Can't jump high enough to get the X Division belt down. He embarrassingly gets over to the ropes and tries to climb across, but he can't hold on. He's not strong enough to pull up his own body weight. So everyone hits big dives onto the outside. DJZ hits one of those step-up planches that, like, I think ACH does an awesome one as well onto everybody. Mandrews then takes it upon himself to scale the scaffolding and does a moonsault from about 20 feet up onto the heels outside. This gives Eddie Edwards some time. He begins to climb the ropes to go to the title. Mike Bennett grabs a ladder. He gets in the way. Eddie Edwards lands a boot that sends Mike Bennett off the ladder. He grabs the belt and is the new X Division champion.
New champ.
Yep.
Well, it's funny after
old champ.
I was. Did you know I was at UFC 200? I was there live. So the main event is in the cage, and Amanda Nunes wins. And like the moment the referee waved it off, like there was a giant flood of people that just start leaving. Like everyone's getting the hell out of there quickly. They're not even waiting for the official announcement. So I'm there trying to meet up with Paul and Antonio, your doppelganger, Antonio the Promised Thomas. Your
My doppelganger.
It's your weigh-in doppelganger.
You know what he looks like? He looks like if we were Russian nesting dolls. I'm like the outside one.
That's exactly what it is.
He's like just me shrunk.
And you guys said exactly the same. But anyway, so I'm leaving to meet up with them, and there's all these people. They're done with the show because they don't care about anything. The fight's over. They're out of there. As soon as Bruce Buffer did his and new, everybody did the same thing in the hall, in the whatever you call it. It was crazy. Sing along with Michael Buffer.
Bruce Buffer.
Bruce Buffer, I apologize.
Michael Buffer is like, you can't really. Let's get ready.
Don't do it, Tom. You'll get sued.
I was going to say crumble.
He will file suit.
Okay. I'll see. Well, I know Bruce. I'll see what I can do.
You know, I got to say one thing also about UFC 200 and Bruce Buffer. When I first started watching UFC, like at UFC 1, or whenever Michael Buffer was in there.
Well, because that was Rich the G-Man Goins at UFC 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Denver. Yeah. This is Rich Goins, blah, 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 blah. Introducing Taylor Tooley.
Yes. And so Michael Buffer. Michael Buffer's doing boxing, and like every now and then WCW would bring him in. And then one day on UFC, you see Bruce Buffer, his brother. Now, fans that have just gotten into UFC in the last 4, 5, 6 years, I mean, Bruce Buffer now is like a legend. Like, he's the real famous Buffer now. But man, back at the time when he first started in UFC, it's like, this guy sucks. Why are they getting Bruce Buffer? Why did they get the cheap knockoff Buffer? This sucks.
Yeah, he was like the fake Sting.
Yeah, he really was. But now he's the real Sting.
Yeah, now I think he's arguably more popular.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Michael Buffer's got to be, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Michael Buffer's like a worldwide phenomenon, though, because he still does all the Klitschko fights, a lot of the big boxing matches. So I think sometimes we look at it from an insular point of view.
No, we're looking at it from the point of view of UFC is hotter among the younger generation than boxing is.
In the U.S.
Sure, yeah. Maybe outside the U.S. it's different. But I mean, in this country, for sure, Bruce Buffer, I would say, is more popular than Michael Buffer.
Oh, 100%, I would imagine, too. Plus, if you listen to his stories, why wouldn't you want to be?
I know, it's crazy.
Buffer? I mean, you'd be surfing, beating dudes up. Just chicks want you left and right. It's awesome. Anyways, let's move on with Impact, because otherwise we're going to be here for a while. Josh informs us that EC3 and Drew Galloway will face off tonight in an interview. Then we have James Storm versus Eli Drake for the King of the Mountain title. Storm starts off hot, but Drake cuts him off in the ropes, hits him with a stun gun and some elbows, a light dummy chant from the crowd. Eli has the match in control and goes outside, grabs the title belt, gets in the ring, goes to hit James Storm with it. The ref goes to grab the belt from him, and they start arguing. And the ref's saying, no, you can't do it. And he says, no, I'm going to hit him with the belt, then you disqualify me. The ref isn't having it, grabs the belt, tosses it away. This allows James Storm to take over with a calf wrangler, his version of the sling blade. He then hits the last call super kick. Eli Drake tumbles out of the ring. As James Storm goes to get him to beat the count, Drake grabs the King of the Mountain title, and he blatantly hits Storm with it in front of the ref to get DQ'd. Gets back in the ring, hits his finisher, the blunt force trauma, leaves Storm laying, and we go to our next segment, which is Eddie Edwards saying he has a lot to think about when it comes to option C.
Fucking option C.
No one has refused to cash it in. So, I mean, why is it even an option?
I don't know. Because it's like it's always been.
Whatever. So we have Marty Bell versus Jade in a knockout street fight. The beginning of this match left me wondering, after this, will Jurgen's stock be at an all-time high? Don't think so. Marty was wearing a shirt that read, oh, God. Jesus. I'm going to try to speak Spanish. Okay. Yo amo mi peón.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Which translates to, I love my Afro-textured hair.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's what yeah. I don't know. You're Mexican. You tell me.
Where's Matt Hardy's gardener?
I don't know. So there's a lot of weapon shots done in a way that probably could not be misconstrued as dangerous. Josh brings up many times that in street fights, wrestlers wear denim. But if he were in one, he would be wearing pro wrestling tees. Pretty good plug. Jade fires back on Marty after some shots that Marty hit her with a kendo stick. She turns the tables on Marty, wraps her in a trash can, beats her with a stick. Marty fights out, gets her police baton, but Jade grabs a pair of nunchucks, and she uses them to take the baton, hits a drop kick on Marty, package pile driver on top of a chair. 1, 2, 3, Jade wins the match. We then have the Miracle back in the ring, and he and Maria call out Billy Corgan. He wants Billy to make things right regarding the X title and him. Maria gets the mic, and she continues to say that she wants Dixie gone, says it's her or Dixie. Dixie decides to come out, says she is president, but she is not going anywhere, which gets a pop from the crowd. Maria says it's her or Dixie, and she starts saying, it's me or you, me or you, me or you. Billy steps in. He tells her to shut up, to stop. He's not going to watch someone politic and take advantage of Dixie like others have in the past. He says, if you want to quit, there's the door, and I'll hold it open for you. Mike Bennett says he's not going to quit, but that Dixie and Billy just made their bed, and now they will have to lie in it. Bennett claims he will ruin the entire Ultimate X show next week, and that's the end of the segment. I also thought I may claim to ruin UFC 202.
Hey, I like now we have an excuse now if there's no show tomorrow.
Yeah, Mike Bennett did it.
Mike Bennett ruined the show.
Yeah. If UFC doesn't give me that UFC hardcore title to defend 24/7, I may go ruin UFC 202. Maybe I'll wait till UFC 247.
Could do that.
Even better. So then we have the BroMans in the ring. They plug Big Brother After Dark and let everybody know to watch the big monitor on the big screen. So they then play some surveillance footage, which does indeed capture Rosemary and Bram locking lips and tongues and making out.
Oh, man.
Yeah, could you imagine having to watch that on like a 1,000-foot screen or wherever they played it on? Boy, oh boy. So Raquel, this is a six-man match between the BroMans and the Decay. Raquel early on hits a back elbow on Rosemary, and Josh uses this time to let us know that Raquel is well-versed in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, yeah?
Brian, is the high back elbow used in gun defense maybe? Because I don't usually see it taught.
High back elbow? No.
In many Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes.
No, there's not a lot of them.
No. Interesting. So this is a short TV six-man tag. Eventually, the BroMans hit their finisher, the bro down. So the bro down is the old heart attack. All right.
Do you know, though, that in the old Gracie self-defense curriculum, Elio Gracie added the karate chop to the neck?
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, and you have to demonstrate it for Pedro's black belt test.
I believe that does, in fact, legitimize the great Khali.
It does, but you got to chop their neck, not their head.
I see. Okay. Interesting. So I'm going to preface the finish of this match. The BroMans hit their finisher, the bro down, which is the heart attack. Okay. Usually, Jesse Goddard's will then turn the guy over into the Adonis lock, which is a Boston Crab. That happens virtually almost every match. It's a tag team match, so somebody comes in, makes the save, they don't get the win. So this time, they hit the bro down, and instead of turning over for the Adonis lock, Jesse jackknifes the guy and makes the pin. 1, 2, 3. So, you see, there's some character development here. The BroMans are indeed becoming more intelligent as a team with the help of their guru, Raquel.
Wow.
I may be reaching.
You're doing something.
May have overthought that one. So we then go to the ring, and Eddie Edwards is there. Okay. He doesn't know what he wants to do about option C. Bobby Lashley comes out. He proceeds to tell Lashley how tough he is. Lists off a bunch of instances in which he had a broken arm, wrestled a match and won. He was hurt, wrestled a match and won. Lashley begins to pat him on the shoulder, tell him how proud he is. Edwards pushes him away, tells him not to touch him. Lashley tells him not to do that. He says, look, I retired Kurt Angle. EC3 and Drew Galloway are gone. I beat them up last week. He says, look, since you're confused about what to do, I'm the champ. I'll make the decision. I want to double down. You're not going to get rid of that title. Next week, you're going to put up that title, and instead, it's going to be X Division title versus the world title. Winner gets both belts. So Eddie Edwards says, his mind, and even some of his friends and family are telling him to do the smart thing and just keep the X Division belt. So that makes me think that his friends and family don't believe in him or they're pussies. He says he's going to listen to his heart. He wants the world title. Let's do it. So they square off. Lashley pie faces him. Lashley goes for the spear, but as he does, Edwards hits the Boston knee party, and Lashley bails out of the ring. And then to end the show, or next, we had an EC3 and Drew Galloway backstage interview argument segment, which was largely meaningless. And then they aired the ending of Final Deletion with Brother Nero.
Honestly, how did you not like the Final Deletion? What do you want in your wrestling, dude?
Oh, I'd like to talk about Nero.
Okay.
Brother Nero.
All right.
Okay. So, many of you are aware that Nero is Jeff Hardy's middle name, which is very interesting because Nero himself was a Roman emperor who is not revered for some of the finer accomplishments of the Roman Empire. Are you aware of this?
Yes, I am.
How aware are you of Nero?
Well, I know that he was the emperor. I don't know a lot about Nero.
Sorry. Okay. Let me read the synopsis from biography.com. Nero...
I know he fiddled while it burned.
Nero was born in 37 AD, the nephew of the emperor. After his father's death, his mother married his great-uncle, Claudius, and persuaded him to name Nero his successor. So Claudius also had a son, and his new wife persuaded this guy to instead name her son the successor. So Nero took the throne at 17 years old, largely believed to have taken the throne because, lo and behold, his mother poisoned his uncle, her husband, his father's brother, Claudius, and Nero was then proclaimed the emperor. During this time, okay.
Sounds like a plot of Star Wars.
It's pretty damn close. Nero did a lot of crazy stuff. He would go out and act and perform in front of the crowds. He would sing. It's largely believed that he sucked as an actor and a singer and an artist. I believe Nero's first wife died. He then married another wife, and then later on, because there was a male who looked so much like his first wife, who he was in love with, according to Wikipedia, he had this guy castrated, and then he married him.
Huh.
Yeah. Interesting. So Nero actually was revered for kind of moving away from the Colosseum as a form of entertainment and more towards arts and athletics. He also competed in the Olympics in chariot racing, kind of to build his legacy as a Roman emperor. But during this time, he almost died, and basically he just did a bunch of crazy shit along the way, and committed suicide towards the end of his life as his closest friends and family were going to rebel against him. So there you go. There's a little history on Nero.
So your point to all of this is they should not have given Jeff the middle name Nero.
Impact from last week, which I will say I believe was the best.
Tom.
What?
I was doing one more Bobby Ballard search as you were talking about that, and you were telling me about sleep was a premium. And so I typed Bobby Ballard sleep into Google without even thinking about it.
Way to go.
And man, what came up? Anyway.
Was it a part of you?
No, just the first thing is a YouTube video, exclusive. Bobby Ballard purrs like a kitten in her sleep. She does not snore, Tom. She purrs. Bet you didn't know that. Impact.
Okay, so this is the Destination X episode from last week, and I will say I think it was the best wrestling show of last week.
Wow.
I think as a show, the Cruiserweight Classic was very good, but the action left something to be desired in many ways. It was a pretty standard show. NXT, it was a one-match show. It was a good match, but nothing blow away. I think top to bottom, this was a better show. Maybe I'm just biased as well, because I like to see Impact gain some steam here in 2016. But the show opens up with a Brother Nero and Jeff Hardy segment. Then we cut to the Impact Zone, and the crowd goes crazy. They go nuts as the camera blatantly catches the production team riling up the crowd with their hands.
Wow.
So you get the crowd screaming and cheering as the camera's panning towards them. And
Why is it that when it rains, it pours? You know what I mean? Why does this shit always happen at TNA?
It was live, baby.
Dude, Raw's live every week.
But that's WWE. We're talking about TNA. We're talking about a company that conceivably never knows if they're going to be able to run the next show.
God.
But I'll tell you what, they do, and these shows are pretty good. So we start off with the Ultimate X match with the X Division coming out. So there's DJZ. Basically, the story of this match is they're trying to put over DJZ. He comes out last. They're talking about how he moved to Chicago, and ever since then, he's picked it up. So we have the entire X Division, which is like 8 guys. Spud is back in the match after having his teeth removed from his mouth by a kick from Braxton Sutter a few weeks ago. At one point in the match, Trevor Lee, who's the former X Division champ, scales 2 ladders in the ring, and the faces begin to separate the ladders. So he's essentially doing like splits, or he's wishboned on the ladders. And then DJZ hits a drop kick to the crotch, which sends him flying. Eventually, DJZ pushes him off the top, Trevor Lee, off the top of the ladder. I believe it was Lee, may have been Andrew Everett, off the top of the ladder onto everybody on the outside. He climbs up, grabs the Ultimate X, which is hanging from the rafters, and he is the new X Division #1 contender. He is interviewed on the ramp by Jeremy Borash. He gives the most basic interview I have heard in ages. It was more boring than a can of paint. And as he's giving this interview, he is attacked by the Miracle Mike Bennett from behind, and Bennett promises to burn Destination X to the ground. We go backstage, where we have a new backstage announcer. I believe it's Mackenzie Mitchell. It's definitely something Mitchell.
She's cute.
Not my type.
But cute. That's all I'm saying.
She's all right. I didn't like her because as soon as they pan to her, she's telling us about Impact. I mean, she was intent on forcing you to know what matches were coming up next. Very animated, in your face.
I was amused because the video I saw, she's just like standing there in a t-shirt. Like, you couldn't even get her blouse or something?
A blouse?
I don't know, whatever the fuck you call it. Do I look like I shop at women's clothing stores?
Is she a fucking flapper?
Wow.
A blouse?
The fuck do you call it then?
A shirt.
She was wearing one, a nice one.
You said a t-shirt. That denotes a different shirt than a normal shirt.
God damn it, Tom.
It's a T. It's shaped like a T. What?
Women's blouse.
Listen, a blouse is like a fluffy. A blouse is like a fluffy shirt.
It would have looked a fucking lot nicer than a t-shirt, dude.
A blouse is what Jerry Seinfeld wore in the puffy shirt episode of Seinfeld, which you would know nothing about. But if you look up Jerry Seinfeld puffy shirt, you'll see a blouse.
Man.
Anyways, Dixie announces that TNA Impact is moving to Thursdays next week. And I thank her for that because that makes this show more relevant by 72 hours.
Hey, you're right.
Right? Gotta look on the bright side there. So in the ring, we have Bobby Lashley and Eddie Edwards facing off. Lashley says that he admires Eddie Edwards' guts to go title for title in the match tonight. But he lets him know Eddie Edwards, underdogs only win in movies. This isn't the movies. The crowd then begins to chant, Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. But Lashley attacks him and grabs a chair. Davey Richards then waddles his way down to the ring, grabs the chair from Bobby Lashley, and Lashley takes off. Davey Richards, of course, coming back from ACL surgery, and he's not even really back. I believe he's just here for this match to support his buddy. But he takes the world title, straps it around Eddie Edwards' waist. Then Bobby Lashley grabs Jeremy Borash, throws him in the ring, and forces him to grab the title off of Edwards' waist and give it back to him. Next match, we have Abyss versus Bram. Rosemary, of course, for a few weeks, has wanted Bram to join the Decay, or maybe she just wanted him. It's not entirely clear, but they've been making out in the back for a while. Abyss and Crazy Steve are pissed about this. I believe Rosemary and Crazy Steve are supposed to be together, or at least boinking. Not sure. But Abyss challenges Bram to a match. By the way, Abyss, I think, is the only man more loyal to TNA than Bram.
You know, you're right. As far as longevity, not as far as re-signing.
Are we sure? I mean, Abyss could be on like a monthly contract every time, much like Bram.
Never heard of that.
No? Okay. Bram's on like a per-show basis, right?
No, he signed multiple multi-year contracts.
But I thought he signed. I could have sworn he signed last Tuesday at the live show and then signed again before Wednesday.
They may have, but they didn't announce it.
Oh, they didn't. Okay. So the match is going on. Abyss hits a choke slam. Rosemary kind of wanders out. This leads to all three Decay members arguing. They collide with each other as Bram runs into the back of Abyss, and Bram rolls him up with a schoolboy for the 3 count. My autocorrect must have corrected it to Bran about 1 million times.
Wow.
So I assure you.
You know you can fix that, you know.
He is not one of the California Raisins, although it would be a very interesting gimmick. We have the Knockouts title match next between Marty Bell, Jade, Gail Kim, and your champion, Sienna. So, match is pretty good. Good action. At one point, Sienna and Marty face off in the middle of the ring. Gail and Jade climb the ropes. I believe Gail comes off with a drop kick or a flying forearm. Jade comes off with one or the other, either a drop kick or a forearm. And like all 4 women hit each other. Absolutely awful schmaz. It looks like Sienna and Marty just like jumped backwards into each other in a pile. So pretty rough looking there. Gail and Jade hit some dives. They decide to square off and lock horns before Marty grabs a hold of Jade and hits a pedigree, which they call protect yo neck. Is that even like a neck hold?
Is that
or a
honestly
neck
what they
move?
call it? Protect yo neck?
Well, Marty calls it protect yo neck.
Huh.
It's not even like a move to your neck. Isn't it a face buster?
Well, it depends on how you take it. If you go straight up and down, it might be to your neck.
What, like that Champagne guy?
Yeah.
From, what was that guy's name?
Champagne.
Oh, that is what it was. I was trying to think if he had a first name. It was Champagne. Oh, God. He took that one rough. See, I was a little kid when he was on that talk show. Wasn't he on a talk show talking about that?
Dude, I don't know. He may have been.
Huh. Okay. So, anyway, she hits the pedigree on Jade. Gail grabs her, hits the eat defeat on Marty. She goes to make the 3 count. Allie, who's on the outside there to help Sienna, puts Marty Bell's foot on the ropes. The ref sees it. This allows Sienna to come in the ring and hit the silencer, which is her version of the pounce, to retain the title. And then her and Allie retreat up the ramp as Allie shrieks. Allie is the star of this Knockouts division by far. We then have a match between Djz and Mike Bennett because Djz is pissed that Mike Bennett attacked him earlier and called him out. So the story of these matches with Mike Bennett and Djz, or the X division, is that he cannot keep up with the fast-paced action. He gets out-quicked, and instead he has to rely on his power moves. Djz is getting beat up for the majority of the match. Has a couple awesome comebacks, a great drop kick, a nice running flip dive to the outside onto the Miracle. This causes the Miracle to try to bail, but according to the announcers, the entire X division, I believe, and it was Mandrews, Braxton Sutter, Shane Helms, who's a manager, Trevor Lee, and Andrew Everett. Those were the 5 men that came out onto the ramp to block the Miracle from leaving during the match. He retreats back into the ring scared. Djz uses this opportunity to roll him up for the 3 count. Bennett is pissed, takes the mic, proclaims again that he's going to burn TNA to the ground, but he will not do it alone. Drew Galloway is out in the ring. He's pissed off that EC3's cost him the title a few times.
Are you purposely adding every time somebody is in the ring that they are pissed? Because I think you've said that about 9 times when somebody is in the ring. Why is everyone so mad?
9 times when? In this episode?
Yeah.
No, I don't
So-and-so's in the ring. They were pissed. So-and-so's in the ring. They were pissed.
I think you
Check your notes.
I'm looking at my notes. I believe you have selective hearing because this is the only time it says it on there.
No, you said it the very last time somebody was in the ring. They were pissed.
Well, they are.
Why is everyone so mad all the time?
Because they interfere in each other's matches. There's no direction.
Is there anybody that's in the ring and they're like happy?
No.
Man.
No, never. And then, come to think of it, no.
It seems like a pretty depressing television show, Tom. Maybe there should be a little more joy. Where's Matt Hardy? He's in a good mood.
Oh, yeah. At some point during the show, he came out here and he was not in a good mood.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I forgot to put that in my notes.
Hey, did they put the Final Deletion follow-up on there, or is that only online?
No, it was on the show.
Okay.
I just choose not to talk about it.
Why, Tom?
What?
Has it aired yet, or is it at the end?
Oh, you know what we should talk about at the end is the beef that you caused on Twitter between himself and me.
That I caused? Wow.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the important stuff, Brian. And that's this brawl ringside between a pissed
Tom,
Drew
I
Galloway.
love you, but nobody is talking about Impact except for Matt Hardy. So don't pretend that this is the important stuff.
Drew Galloway is pissed that EC3 has cost him the title.
Matt Hardy's the alley of the male division.
They brawl around ringside. Listen, if he looked more like Alley, I'd be down for that. Anyways, yeah, fun brawl, cool. So backstage, this was probably my favorite part of the show. Backstage, David Richards is taping Eddie Edwards' hands. May I add, quite a suspect tape job as a professional corner man myself. He asks Eddie Edwards if Eddie wants the submission tape job or the knockout tape job. So Eddie says, yeah, I want the knockout tape job. Give me that Boston Knee Party style tape job. So, the Boston Knee Party is a running, jumping knee. Why? What does that have to do with taping your fist at all? You don't tape your knee.
Now you're asking me to explain this, Tom?
Yeah.
I don't have any idea.
I don't think David Richards is a licensed cornerman.
You don't say.
After seeing this, yeah, you know what? Pretty poor job on the part of the commission there in Florida. So David Richards talks about wishing that he was there in the ring with Eddie Edwards tonight. They set it up. I'm fully expecting him to turn on Eddie Edwards in the match. So the main event is the Destination X match main event. Title versus title. World title versus the X title. Bobby Lashley versus Eddie Edwards. Really good match while it lasted. Lashley uses power moves to take over initially. Edwards fires back some strikes, hits a top rope Frankensteiner. He kind of has Lashley stunned, almost out on his feet, the announcers claim. Hits a top rope Frankensteiner, goes for the Boston Knee Party, but Lashley catches him in a power slam, and as he's spinning him around, bumps the ref. Davey Richards interferes, comes into the ring. They hit their finisher, which is chasing the dragon. So the brainbuster kick combination. The referee wakes back up, but Lashley kicks out at 2. Out comes Mike Bennett. He lays out the ref. He starts laying a beat down, calls out Moose. So Moose walks out, pumping his fist. Crowd begins to chant. He has the same music, I think, as he did in Ring of Honor, so it's easy to identify him. He comes out. He power bombs Eddie Edwards onto the ring apron, gets face to face with Lashley. This allows Bennett to low blow Bobby Lashley from behind. Moose and Bennett pose. He lays out Lashley with a clothesline. And during this entire thing, I was distracted because I noticed that Moose, like Michael Jordan, are the only people to have the Hitler mustache since Hitler.
Huh.
Have you noticed that?
You know, I had not noticed that.
Michael Jordan had it in a commercial. I can't remember, what is it? Hanes, Fruit of the Loom, I believe, one of those companies he does commercials for. And he was on an airplane, and he had a Hitler mustache.
Huh.
And if you take a look at Moose, he has the same mustache.
Hey, I got a question for you. So,
yeah.
Apparently Dave reported that nobody knew who Moose was, and this made Moose very upset, and he cut a promo on Dave on Twitter. I've had many people that watched the show that said Dave was right. Moose obviously disagrees. What was your perspective?
Well, it's weird because during these matches, like the last 3 matches maybe, the crowd was on their feet. Like the front of the crowd was on their feet the entire time. So when Moose comes out, they cut to the crowd, and there's probably, I'd say, like 30% maybe of the crowd doing the Moose like signal as he's doing it, but the crowd wasn't like cheering when he came out. It was kind of like quiet, and then they did the Moose thing, but not the entire crowd was doing it. I'd say like 30% were doing it. So I'm not sure if the other half knew who he was and didn't want to cheer along because he was a heel. That's another aspect of this. Or if they had no clue who he was. Or maybe they thought he was Michael Jordan.
Huh. I don't think that's what they thought, Tom.
No, I don't.
Because they would have cheered louder.
That's a
if Michael
point.
Jordan made his debut for TNA, I guarantee he'd get a big pop.
Yeah. I guarantee it too. I can't wait to see, by the way, Shaq versus The Big Show at WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to be there. Shaq is a BJJ practitioner. He's got to have the edge on Big Show, right? Big Show couldn't even beat a boxer. Boxer.
Well, that's true. Tom, tell me about this. Tell me about this man thing. I want to hear about it. Why don't you like it?
The Final Deletion. No, it's not that I don't like it, but it's interesting. But to do a recap, there's so much stuff going on all at once, and that seems to be the thing that most people have been talking about when it comes to TNA. So I'd like to give some of the other people in TNA a little bit of notoriety because they're doing a good job.
Yeah. Well, they are, but this is very newsworthy, what's going on with Matt. Did you know that there is an indie show coming up where Matt and Jeff are billed as partners? Can you believe that bullshit?
Yes, however, okay, so I mentioned Matt Hardy came out during this show. This reminds me. Matt and Rebby were cutting a promo. Matt brought Jeff out, okay? he said that he wanted the Jeff Hardy name gone. He wanted Jeff Hardy gone, but that he wouldn't allow him to leave TNA because he would just leave and start using his name again, or he would be somebody else in a different place. He wants to keep Jeff in TNA to make him suffer. So it could be a case in which it is broken Matt Hardy, and he's trying to control Brother Nero.
So Jeff is allowed to use the Brother Nero name.
I would have to go back and look through the spoilers, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's how it goes down in the Indies. Broken Matt Hardy controlling.
Well, no, the poster
Jeff.
itself says the Hardy Boys.
But Matt's in control, so he can use the
I
gimmick.
see. So he can use the man as his
Yes.
slave.
Yes. So basically, I think they forced Jeff to come out, and then Jeff's out there and he goes, Brother Nero, I knew you'd come.
I love Matt.
So yeah, this Matt Hardy, I wish he was broken Matt Hardy during WrestleMania weekend. This was, I believe it was right as he was turning into broken Matt Hardy, but he hadn't fully
He hadn't fully embraced it yet.
He hadn't morphed. He is like, actually, to use another Pokemon reference here, he's like a Pokemon. He's like changing shapes and growing into a greater version of himself. So
Sure, and he's everywhere you look.
yeah, he could be like Mastoise soon or something.
Yeah.
Matsoise.
Yeah.
Charmatter.
Cool.
All the Pokemon
All right.
aficionados will be happy.
Yes. Well, that's very exciting. Very exciting report. Alrighty, let's do the damn impact report.
All right. So it opens up.
I'll be back in 15 minutes.
All right, I'll be here. 721 Impact. Brother Nero opens up the show, and he is in his backyard reminiscing about the dirt bike jump that broke his leg right after he and Matt won the tag team title. So he's actually, like reminiscing and putting the blame on himself for losing those tag team titles or having to vacate them. Vanguard 1 then appears. Vanguard 1, of course, is Matt's favorite drone. Matt then appears. So I guess that this is his, what would it be? Herald. Vanguard 1 is his herald. Matt then appears and eggs Jeff on to make the jump. So we see Jeff getting on the dirt bike, scaling the first ramp, and then we cut to the ring. And Bobby Lashley is out to the ring, and he is pissed. He's also wearing a Nutrabolic shirt. So, Brian, remind me in the future if I get a fight lined up, do not buy Nutrabolic supplements. I'm going to stay away from them. Okay?
Dude, don't buy any supplement with bollocks in the name.
Not doing it.
It's bullocks.
So, crowd, that was so good.
Thank you.
That was so clever. Oh, crowd starts a Moose chant. He says he wants Moose's big goofy ass out to the ring. Instead, we get Mike Bennett's music. He comes out wearing Willy Wonka's golden egg as a jacket. He brings out Moose. Lashley challenges him. Moose unbuttons his shirt in a very sultry manner before walking down to the ring. Eddie Edwards attacks Moose from behind. Bennett jumps Edwards. Lashley jumps in. All four brawl. Edwards hits a dive onto everybody. The refs intervene. Dixie pops up on the Aeroluxtron, warns Bennett and Moose that they are fired on the spot tonight if they interfere in the main event. Also, the Bound for Glory playoffs for the title shot at Bound for Glory start tonight. They, in fact, start right now. Mike Bennett will wrestle Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's music hits, but instead, out comes Matt Hardy with Rebby. He says Jeff is his intellectual property. If they are going to use his image at any time, they should have his express written consent. And if not, he should be getting $5,000. Matt then points us to the Aeroluxtron, where video of Jeff falling off the dirt bike as he tries to make the jump, the most recent jump, airs. Matt looks on and laughs at him, says that he and the drone have composed music for Jeff tonight. So, the music begins, and it's the drone, Vanguard 1, saying, "I'll fade away and classify myself as obsolete." And then Rebby screams, "Obsolete!" as Jeff Hardy, or Brother Nero, walks down to the ring. So the whole time, all you get is this shitty robot voice going, "I'll fade away and class myself as obsolete." And then Rebby screaming, obsolete over and over in Jeff's face. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. So we get Mike Bennett versus Brother Nero. Story of the match is that Jeff is absolutely wrecked from the dirt bike crash that he was in. So Bennett just beats his ass, hits a diamond cutter, pins him. Squash match, 1, 2, 3, over in about 2 minutes. Bennett moves on to the semifinals of the Bound for Glory playoff.
Hold on a second, Tom. I got to stop you here. Now, granted, maybe I wasn't listening as well as I should have, but I need to get some clarification on something. So Jeff was involved in another dirt bike crash?
So this is what happened. At the beginning of the show, he is in the backyard where he has a dirt bike ramp, and he's going through the past. And he's saying, "Man, basically he's like he kind of screwed up, and it was admitting that it's his fault that he and Matt had to vacate the titles. Like,
okay,
he's taking some blame." So Matt shows up and he starts egging Jeff on to make a jump. You can do it. You can do it, Jeff. You can do it this time. So Jeff gets on the dirt bike, hits the ramp, and immediately he goes flying off the bike into the dirt, and Matt just looks on laughing at him.
Okay. I was completely confused because I thought that I didn't know there was okay, I got it now.
Yeah.
What a fucking moron. What the hell do you do that for?
It's odd because you watch the first segment, I'm watching it, and it's like, wait a minute, Matt is like egging him on to do something so that he gets over his fear. So it's like, if you actually watch these segments, I think that what's going to happen is they're both going to end up being baby faces as like Broken Matt and Brother Nero. You just watch. So anyways, Matt says he wants to be the world champion. He's still out there with Jeff. He was disgusted by Jeff's loss. Says he wants to be the world champion. He will delete his next opponent. Out comes Cowboy James Storm, who apparently is his next opponent. The match begins as they plug Dixie's Twitter and Instagram on the screen because really, what's more important than that? Storm wants to find the super kick early, but he can't get it. They brawl out on the floor. I guess these matches were no DQ because Storm rides the Boozer Cruiser into Matt's exposed genitals as Earl Hebner looks on forlornly directly in front of them. The entire match pretty much takes place on the floor, even more so than the awesome brawl between LA Park and Roosh from a couple weeks ago. Have you watched that match?
I just need to fucking watch it like during the show right here or something.
It's really good.
I have seen the clips.
Yeah.
I think 90 people have asked me that. I've given that same answer every time.
It's like you watch it and it's so off the wall. I don't even know what I know what's going on, but I can't believe it. Anyways,
you know what's going on because no one else knows what's going on. They just went into business for themselves and they got the fucking match thrown out.
They brawl in the crowd. They start bleeding and getting weapons involved. Then they go in the ring and do some spots. Then they brawl again. Then they go outside and do some more spots. And then they both just kind of like, I guess we're done with this. And they call a truce, and then that's the end of it. Very bizarre. But, and that also reminds me, as far as SmackDown goes, right, that and Raw, I thought good new camera angles, but I wish that they would differentiate between them even more so and perhaps shoot SmackDown like they do some of the Lucha Libre matches with like the hard cam at a different angle. So it's facing perhaps the entranceway. Just a thought.
Or the overhead camera angle that showed that awesome Hurricane Rana on Lucha Underground.
Yeah. There's a lot of things, a lot of little things that they could do that I think would differentiate the two shows, but actually it is here or there because that's what the show is about. But anyways, Storm in the ring hits a code breaker that the Pope calls a lung blower. So his anatomy, his ability to understand the human anatomy is a little bit off, I believe. Storm then goes for the last call super kick. Rebby hits him with a hammer in the leg. Matt then hits the twist of fate, pins him 1, 2, 3. Broken Matt wins. Rebby exclaims, "Brilliant!" on the outside over and over. We get an EC3 video package of him lifting with different color bumper plates. Those of you who are not aware, if you see different color plates, even though they're the same size, they are different weight. So he had like 5 plates on there, but it was probably closer to 300 pounds that he was lifting rather than 600 pounds. So you don't even need to go to the Peach Machine Bodybuilding Forum to find that out. We have Bennett and Moose discussing some stuff in the back. I didn't really pay attention. EC3 back out in the ring, and he is semi-pissed off. Out comes Drew Galloway, and he looks super pissed. These two decide to argue about who's better, who's going to get the title shot at Bound for Glory. They remove their tops, but immediately Eli Drake hits the ramp, starts calling everyone dummies, tells Drew to take a walk. EC3 is going to face him now, and he says EC3 is going to lose when he see me. Thought it was kind of clever. We have EC3 versus Eli Drake. Some chain wrestling to start. EC3 works over Eli's left arm. EC3 later on goes for the 1%er, but gets hit with a facebuster from a back suplex position. Looked pretty vicious. EC3 later on counters a neck breaker in the corner with a side Russian leg sweep into the turnbuckle. Looked pretty brutal. They go back and forth, counter some more moves from each other. EC3 eventually climbs up the back, pulls Eli Drake over with a sunset flip, and scores the 3 count. 1, 2, 3. EC3 moves on to the Bound for Glory semifinals next week. The biggest takeaway from this match is that EC3 indeed made Eli Drake look physically small. Not an easy task.
Certainly not, Tom.
No, I think EC3 is like morphing into a gigantic sort of like, he's like a Pokemon. He's going to assume his final form soon. I believe it may be close to that of a Brontosaurus or Stegosaurus. The guy's getting huge. Matt is in the back, and he runs into who else but Vanguard 1, his drone. And he asks who he will face next week. So Vanguard shoots a hologram of EC3 graphics. Matt says that he will defeat him. And then he says, Vanguard 1, give me an image of the keys. And then freaks out because he notices the camera is there. Makes sure that the camera gets shut off. He's yelling about deleting the tape. So apparently, Vanguard 1 holds an image to something, or holds an image of keys that are going to be used to unlock something in the future.
Tom, can I stop you for one moment?
Sure.
I ask you a very serious question.
Yeah.
So, I don't watch Impact. I don't have Pop TV.
You don't say.
That's why I rely on you. And so, I don't know what the hell's going on. And you do your report here on this show. Mm-hmm. And Tom, I trust you. I trust that you are not fucking with me. But I must ask, are you making any of this up?
I promise you I'm not.
Okay.
I promise.
Because when I hear this, sometimes I think this is the week that he's totally fucking with me.
This
see if I notice.
This stuff is actually good. You should look at this.
It sounds great.
Jeff stuff.
That's why I'm asking if it's actually airing on television or if you're making it up in some fantasy land.
Nope. Promise. The only fantasy land I live at is the one where I'm surrounded by divas and knockouts.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Both divisions, all 20 of them, total. Which leads me to the next segment, and that is Maria and Allie in the back. Tonight we will have a State of the Knockouts division speech. So you do not need to tune in to the Democratic National Convention or the GOP convention. We will get the State of the Knockouts tonight. Allie says that Maria is indeed the best. Maria tells her, stop kissing ass. Allie then decides, I'm going to tell you how to meditate. This segment was pointless. Absolutely pointless. However, this next segment, Brian, I will tell you as I describe it very briefly. You should look up this segment and perhaps even play it or watch it on air. It's a Tyrus commercial. If you have any problems, even detention, you need to call him. Call the fixer, Tyrus, they give a number.
Really?
Yes.
What's the number?
407.
Okay.
906.
Okay.
1965. Now, this is indeed 407 is the area code for Orlando.
Okay, so you're not fucking with me here either. Because I'm going to call it right now.
This is the number they put on air. Yeah.
Okay, I'm calling it. You better come up with a problem quick. My problem's going to be Tom's fucking with me when I call.
No, I
Hello.
got a problem.
Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to reach.
You've reached the fixer. Leave your number and your problem after the beep.
Hi, guys. My number is 3... that's my actual number. Oops.
What? That's weird. I didn't do anything. Dude, watch Famous B pick up.
I don't think anyone's going to pick up.
That was bizarre. We didn't do anything. We were actually leaving a message.
Yeah.
You've reached the fixer. Leave your number and your problem after the beep.
Is not available. Please leave a message after the tone.
Try again.
Hi, guys. My name is Tom, and I have a really big problem. I was at a sweet party a few weeks ago, and a couple gentlemen gave me an STD that I have not been able to rid myself of, and I was hoping that Tyrus could help me out with that. Thanks.
God, I wish I would have had, like, Ryan from Cumberland's number. Damn it.
Yeah. You could have put up Semper Vivi's number and seen if they would have
I could
verified him.
have. Damn it. Oh,
All right.
Who cares?
Yeah, we get the state of the knockouts. So all 6 knockouts are in the ring with Maria. Maria asks if there are any questions. Allie, of course, has a question. She raises her hand and says, Allie, you're a huge inspiration. And how can we be more like you? This leads to all of them arguing. Gail Kim wants a title shot. Maria says, fine, but if you lose one match, you never get a title shot again. Then she says, basically she puts a bounty on Gail Kim. Not the candy bar bounty, although that would be kind of cool. I'd rather watch her place a bunch of bounties all over Gail Kim than put a bounty on her head. Jade and Marty start fighting out of nowhere. Madison Rain attacks Gail from behind and says, maybe it's time we all start looking out for ourselves. We go to the back with Rosemary fawning over Bram. She says that she wants Bram to win tonight. She asks Bram if he wants her help. He says he's not really sure. And then they just make out. Bram is irresistible.
Oh, yeah?
Well, everywhere he goes, women are all over him, right? They go crazy for this guy.
Like Crazy Steve.
Yeah, they go crazy for Bram. Okay, so the tribunal beats up Mahabali Shera in the back. Before that happens, Mahabali Shera is standing there, and they interview him. Give us your thoughts on the Bound for Glory tournament. Who the hell cares what Mahabali Shera's thoughts are on the Bound for Glory tournament? He's not in it. He's like the lowest guy on the card. This would be like asking, hey, let's see. Who could it be? Eric Rowan, what do you think about the world title match tonight? Even though you have nothing to do with it.
Christ, that guy could be in there. On SmackDown? He very easily could be in the world title picture soon.
Oh, he very easily could be, but I was tilting my head like he does in that mask as you said that. That's what happened. So then we have Bram versus Drew Galloway, Bound for Glory playoffs. Pretty good match. Lots of hard-hitting action with big strikes. They end up on the top rope. It ends with both guys getting crotched, to which Josh says, I don't know who got the worst of it. Pope says, any man knows. They both got the worst of it. To which Josh says, great analysis. Pope sucks.
Wow.
He does. He's not very good. Bram counters a Claymore kick with a pop-up powerbomb. Bram places Galloway up on the top rope. As he does that, Galloway wraps up double underhooks, leaps off the top, hits a tornado future shock DDT, and gets the 3 count. Pretty good match. We then go to the main event of the evening. Eddie Edwards versus Bobby Lashley. 6 sides of steel. X Division title versus world title in TNA. Edwards, as Lashley comes out immediately, I believe he hit like a drop kick through the ropes immediately, and then hits the ropes, does a dive through the open cage door to the outside. I should let you know now, and I will, that this match must be won by pinfall or submission. You cannot escape the cage to win. Lashley, they fight on the outside for a little bit. Lashley backdrops him on the floor, takes over. Lashley, because he trains Bellator, takes Edwards inside and puts a hurting on him. Lashley maintains control with some neck holds, some submission locks, some short-range strikes. Eventually, Eddie Edwards...
What about arm twists?
No arm twists. Mostly neck holds. Edwards, and perhaps a choke hold in there. It may have been a blood choke, however, because a throat choke is against the rules. Edwards fights out of a torture rack, gets planted with a huge spine buster. Lashley goes for the spear, but instead eats the cage. Fights back a little bit. Edwards hits an enziguri, which allows him to climb up to the cage. Lashley climbs up with him, tries to powerbomb Edwards off the top of the cage. Eddie Edwards is able to fight him off, and instead reverse it into a Hurricane Rana off the top. Comes up to his feet, immediately hits the Boston Knee Party, only for a 2 count as Lashley kicks out. They get back up to their feet. Lashley, not even like a belly to belly, he just grabs Edwards and throws him over his head, launches him through the air, picks him up, press slams him through the cage panel so that Edwards is on the ring apron. Lashley hits him with a spear, which sends Eddie Edwards tumbling backwards down the steel steps. Lashley goes outside, grabs the world title, goes into the ring. Eddie Edwards gets up, sends the title face first into Bobby Lashley with the Boston Knee Party, goes for the cover. Lashley kicks out at 2. Edwards goes up to the top of the cage as if he's going to do a dive. Lashley up to his feet, charges the cage so that Edwards falls and is suspended, hanging over the top of the cage, draped over the top. Lashley climbs up on the top rope, hits a huge superplex with Edwards still draped over the top of the cage. Awesome move. Lashley gets up, 2 spears. We have a new X Division champion, still the world champion, Bobby Lashley. He then grabs Eddie Edwards, lifts him up to congratulate him, instead pushes him into the corner, sets up for a spear. EC3 hits the ring, Matt Hardy hits the ring, Bennett hits the ring, Drew Galloway hits the ring, Moose hits the ring, and all breaks down into a brawl as the show goes off the air. This match was awesome. They played out this X Division angle between Eddie Edwards and Bobby Lashley really well over the past 3 or 4 weeks. Ever since they put the title on Mike Bennett, really, the entire storyline was very well done. I would go out of my way to see this matchup.
And what a great preview, Tom, for tomorrow's Impact, now on Thursdays. All right, hey, let's go on to the Impact report.
Okay, so we have Impact from last week. This is July 28th, 2016. The show begins with Matt Hardy, Broken Matt, out to the ring to face EC3. But first, Matt is pissed, and he calls out his obsolete mule brother, Nero.
Why is he a mule?
Because he's going to do all of Matt's work.
Huh.
What do you mean?
It's a drug trafficking reference.
No. The drug trafficking is not the it was not the root of that word. The mule was doing work before there were drugs.
That is true. But it's 2016, Tom, not fucking 1830. Am I wrong? Thank you.
No, it is 2016. What the hell's your point?
My point is, when people hear that word today, they don't think of working in the fucking fields with an actual mule.
No, they do. You and Semper Vivi thought about drugs.
What are you talking about? What does Semper Vivi have to do with this?
It's where you first started. He's the one that mentioned it was a drug reference.
No, he didn't.
Well, it was on one of your damn shows. Somebody did.
Yeah, it was me with you.
No.
You confused yourself with Semper Vivi.
No. We do both have Polish girlfriend.
That's what I thought. All right, let's go on.
Anyways, I think you're wrong. But anyways, Matt's pissed. He wants Brother Nero out. So Brother Nero comes out while the Vanguard 1 music plays, and Rebby still chants obsolete in Jeff's face as he walks down. Matt commands Nero's servitude, and that tonight his job is to ensure that Matt walks away with the victory against EC3. EC3 comes out to the ring, and in typical EC3 fashion, he's just kind of pissed. Not really pissed. Matt does some amazing snarling and biting in EC3's face that has to be seen to be believed. Matt Hardy is awesome. EC3 continues, or he starts to mock Matt's voice and his catchphrases. He gets this is probably the dumbest chant I've ever heard, or the most strange chant. He gets a relevant creature chant going for Jeff. Relevant creature, which I believe is more syllables than anyone in the crowd had ever put together at one time before. And this match begins. So EC3 versus Mount Hardy. We have Rebby in a 13th century corset ringside, which I approve of. EC3 is bleeding pretty early on after being bitten on the nose by Mount Hardy. So Matt then removes EC3's boot to go after his previously injured ankle. And during this whole time, he is biting EC3's ankle, his exposed foot. Rebby distracts the ref. This leads to a double down off a clothesline. Jeff then slides a hammer. Rebby gives Jeff a hammer. Jeff slides it into the middle of the ring, not knowing who's going to be able to pick it up. Matt then takes this time to bite the ankle again, the exposed ankle, picks up the hammer, goes to hit EC3, but my boy Stifler, who, Brian, are you aware that I used to train with this referee, Brian Stifler here?
You know,
TNA?
I may have heard that, yes.
Okay. He was not there in the one battle royal that I did, however. I'll tell you that story later on. But Stifler grabs the hammer, takes away from Matt. EC3 then picks up his own boot, which Matt took off, hits Matt with the boot, grabs him, hits the 1%er, and broken Matt Hardy is pinned and left to pick up the pieces. So the obsolete mule, Brother Nero, did not complete his task as Matt had given him. So EC3 moves on to the Bound for Glory finals, which are taking place this week. So next we have Gail Kim versus Madison Rain. They have a match, whatever. Gail Kim hits the eat defeat out of nowhere after getting beat up, and she moves closer to a title shot at Bound for Glory, which is going to feature all 6 knockouts. So as we know, Gail Kim's whole storyline here is that she must win these matches in order to get a title shot, and if she loses, she will never get a title shot again. Next, we have Moose. He is in the ring wearing a Moose Crossing shirt, semi-pissed. Wait, hold on. Blah, blah, blah. They were in the back. I'm sorry here. So Moose wasn't pissed. He's only pissed when he's in the ring. Moose is wearing a Moose Crossing shirt. Mike Bennett shows up, standing next to him. Moose says, doesn't matter who's in his way. He's going to hit a game breaker. He's going to beat him. And Moose, Moose, Moose. What a chant that is. So then TNA decides to start showing its, what I guess would be next in its short film series. And this one is focused on the farmlands, where we are going to take a look at the origins of Rosemary in this cinematic endeavor. Rosemary is having a childhood flashback. She's in a farmland in the woods with Bram. She wants to show Bram, the reason why she is how she is today and why she is so bizarre, I guess. So she's having a childhood flashback where she looked exactly the same, just with pigtails and no makeup. She's upset about her cat dying. This is a really hard segment to follow. She's upset about her cat dying. She climbs up a tree, starts crying, falls off the tree, hits her head, gets up, starts talking to the tree. The tree is talking back to her, says that she has a brother she's never met named Montgomery, who her parents have hidden from her. I'm not sure if the tree becomes Montgomery. I don't know what the hell is going on. Bram, then they cut back to reality, and Bram does what I have done on many first dates and voices his confusion and discomfort with what the girl has just said. And she says playfully, "Look, I didn't bring you out here to talk about my imaginary friends. I came here to show you this," and points to a dilapidated barn in the background. Then we have Moose versus David Starr. David Starr is no James Ellsworth. However, he is a jobber. This is Moose's in-ring debut. It's a semi-vicious squash. David Starr looks pretty close to Joey Ryan. Some chest hair, similar trunks, a little greasy. Moose puts him up on the top, hits a drop kick, sends him outside. David Starr gets in the ring, goes for a dive. Moose catches him, picks him up, power bombs him onto the apron, hits the game breaker. So Moose now has a new finisher. He's no longer using the spear, I assume because Lashley uses it. However, the game breaker is a spinning Rainmaker clothesline, which he now uses to pick up the 3-count pin. Brian, you there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Mike Bennett hops on the mic. He's in the ring. He's pissed. says some stuff before Bobby Lashley comes down.
Every time I'm about to fall asleep, I hear he's pissed, and it wakes me up.
Let me tell you, Bobby Lashley was even more pissed off. So really pissed off Lashley comes out to confront Moose. With Mike Bennett in their face playing the hype man. Mike Bennett asks the crowd if they want to see this match now, and they go crazy. Mike Bennett says, "Nah, Moose, I need you healthy for my match later on." Lashley then grabs the mic, says they begin to leave. Bennett and Moose are out of the ring. Lashley grabs the mic and says, "One day, Moose, your mommy will let you fight me, and that you're a bitch." So Mike Bennett holds Moose back. Lashley begins to cut down everybody in TNA, says he wants every single title, and this brings out the number one contender for the X Division title, DJZ. DJZ is out to the ring. He's really pissed. And in an interesting turn, he says he does not think he can stop Lashley, but he wants to fight him anyways, which is an awful idea. He says Lashley is not an X Division guy. He's going to take that title back right now. Lashley says, "Look, you're talking about me not being able to do the things that you do, but you can't do any of the things that I do. So go ahead, pick a match that you want. I'll beat you in it. It doesn't matter." So DJZ says he wants a ladder match for that X Division title, and he chooses that match, and it begins now. So DJZ versus Lashley for the X Division title. Lashley has a 100-pound weight advantage. He's clocked in at 275, DJZ at 175. Lashley throws him around. DJZ does a good job of flying around the ring. DJZ then starts using the ladder to get the advantage. At one point, Lashley sets up the ladder, and DJZ is going to use it, and Lashley seesaws it up and then slams it down on top of DJZ's fingers. Pretty cool move. Goes in, hits a Dominator, slides out of the ring. He slides DJZ out of the ring, I'm sorry. He begins to climb the ladder about as quickly as a guy with a loss to James Thompson would. DJZ then runs in pretty easily, drop kicks him off the ladder, climbs up, does a dive from the top of the ladder to the outside. He goes back in, begins to climb the ladder, trying to win the title. Lashley comes in and in a cool spot, picks up the entire ladder, kind of moves it, and sends DJZ flying off the top into the ropes. Okay, so then the match continues on. DJZ comes up, hits a low blow on Lashley, does a front roll, and hits a leaping DDT. They're down. They both decide to climb to the top of the ladder. They get up there. They fight it out. Lashley press slams him off the ladder to the mat, grabs the title, and retains the X Division belt. So I think Lashley should vacate the world title or just be X Division title and beat up all these midgets for a long time.
Oh, yeah? I think he's going to win another title and be the Triple Crown champion and beat up everybody every week.
No way.
Yep.
You really think so?
Yep.
You think he's going to beat Eli Drake?
Is he the champion right now? Then yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the King of the Mountain champion? Is that Eli Drake?
Eli Drake.
Man, well, you know what? Eli Drake is not beating Bobby Lashley.
We go to the back, and we have Drew Galloway and EC3 talking. They're no longer friends. EC3 offers to have Drew's back tonight. Drew says no. He's going to win the match tonight himself. He doesn't want EC3's help. So then we have Bram and Rosemary back at the farm. There's another flashback. She's now dressed like a gothic chick, and the tree is telling her that indeed her future love will come. Rosemary's always just wanted a boyfriend. She's always just looking for love. And the tree tells her that soon your Johnny, he will come. But then Johnny never showed up. And Rosemary's heart was ready to split into two. So she began to cast every spell she knew. And then Johnny appeared. And then he almost touched her, but she emerged from her subconscious and couldn't tell Bram what happened. Bram says, "Whatever it is, tell me, because we're okay."
What in the hell is going on?
I swear to God. "It's okay. You're here now." So then she says, "Come with me," and grabs him by the arm, drags him to the barn, and she says, "I'm doing this so that the ghost can help me tell my story."
Cool.
Can you get Bram and Rosemary on After Dark?
Please. Remind me.
Because I don't want to talk about them anymore. What I will talk about is Eli Drake, who is out next to host his segment, The Fact of Life. And Eli Drake, usually a pretty cordial, comical fella, but he's way more pissed than usual. He says Lashley is a cross-eyed halfwit with a Ninja Turtle head. He calls himself a perpetual motion machine of badassery. And while Lashley wants to collect titles like Pokemon Go, he wants a match versus Lashley for all the belts. And this actually got a Pokemon Go, or I'm sorry, a Pokemon chant from the crowd. Amazing. 2016. So instead of Lashley, we have James Storm come down to the ring. He's pissed off. Eli says, look, James, I want some contenders to come out here, not drunks. James Storm then knocks Eli's gallon jug of water out of the way because Eli was showing off that he drinks water, not beer. He tells us all water sucks, which kind of pissed me off. Makes a Thunder from Down Under reference in relation to Eli Drake. Tells Eli, this is one of the strangest things, okay? In order to cut down Eli Drake, what James Storm says is that, Eli, tell your dad to keep staying in the kitchen and making those mashed potatoes. Because my dad is out back smashing your mom's potatoes.
What?
I swear. That's what he said. So in order to get a fight with Eli Drake, he mentions Eli Drake's dad. He cuts down Eli Drake's dad by saying that his own dad was banging Eli Drake's mom in the backyard, while Eli Drake's dad is cooking up mashed potatoes.
Tom, you're killing me.
I swear to God, that's a segment. Not in any realm, not on Tube 8 or Red Tube would you even see such a thing. So Eli wants no more beer in TNA. He wants no more stupid cooler or boozer cruiser and no more country music. Eli says he doesn't get country music because he never learned to drive a tractor or make love to his own sister. So this pisses off Storm so much that he accepts the match with his redneck identity on the line. They fight. Eli hits him with a low blow and then his finisher, the blunt force trauma, which is a running knee into a clothesline. And he leaves James Storm laying. So I guess we're getting a match in the future where if James Storm loses, he can no longer drink beer, no longer ride the boozer cruiser, and can no longer listen to country music. I also notice at this point that James Storm is in fact so red and tanned that if he loses this match, he can easily do the ultimate turncoat action and become the Indian James Storm or the Native American James Storm.
First Nations, Tom.
Whatever. Okay. Sorry to offend anybody out there. We have then the Tyrus the Fixer commercial, which was still awesome. Grado and Mahabali Shera argue in the back.
This show is still going.
Brian, I also noticed by taking notes that SmackDown has increased the number of segments in an Impact-esque way over the last couple weeks. Then we have a Monsters Ball match for the tag titles. Starts in the back, an impromptu match. We come back from commercial. The fight has spilled into the ring. And Abyss takes a bump onto some thumbtacks that I've already forgotten about. The BroMans are destroying the Decay with weapon double teams, but they begin to celebrate. Abyss recovers. They counter and hit a double spear on him through a barbed wire table in the corner. Then they hit the bro down on Crazy Steve onto the thumbtacks. Jesse Goddard then turns him over and applies the Adonis lock, which is a Boston Crab, face down onto the thumbtacks. And like usual, you do Chris Jericho is doing the Walls of Jericho on the steps. It doesn't really make it a worse move. This is one of the few moves where Crazy Steve is face down on the Boston Crab, and he has his face rubbed against the thumbtacks. His chest is against the thumbtacks. Even if he puts his hands down to push up, his hands are going to be impaled with thumbtacks. So pretty cool spot there. Looks brutal. Abyss gets up, cuts him off. Jesse Goddard scales the top. Abyss pushes him through a table, or punches him and sends him through a table. Abyss goes out, grabs Janice. Raquel comes in the ring, hits a low blow. Robbie E grabs Janice. Crazy Steve distracts Robbie E. Abyss choke slams him onto the barbed wire board for the 3 count. I was not in the mood to watch this match, but it was a lot better than I thought. And after the match, in the most unsanitary thing that I've seen since the Sweet Party as well, Crazy Steve begins licking the tacks that are on the mat. Brian, are you ready for the main event?
Please.
The main event of tonight, which I don't have notes on, but I will try to come up with exactly what happened from memory. Mike Bennett versus Drew Galloway in the Bound for Glory playoff semifinal. So the winner goes on to face EC3 this week for the right to face the champion, Bobby Lashley, at Bound for Glory. Maria comes out to do her introduction. Due to her hand injury, she is wearing the old school Nintendo Power Glove from the Wiz movie in the 80s. Before the match can begin, as Drew Galloway comes down to the ring, Moose attacks from behind and beats his ass. The match then goes on. There's a litany of interference. Let me think. Who came down?
All right, who won? I'm cutting to the chase here.
Oh, Mike Bennett wins with a miracle in progress after interference from Moose and EC3.
Awesome.
Was that dead on?
I think so. I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. There was a bunch of interference. EC3 came down. I believe he went to hit probably Bennett with something. Bennett moved. He hit Galloway. I think that's how it went down. That's usually how it goes down at Impact, so let's stick with that.
Alrighty. Why couldn't you take notes there at the end?
Baby was going ape shit.
I see.
And when I transferred my notes to the computer, I realized that they were